Hello, ladies. My name is Henry Roland Barnes, and I am the man that Mignonette has foolishly agreed to marry. Mignonette, I bet you didn't think you were going to see me this weekend. Ha! Joke is on you. In any event, we have a little quiz for you. I hope that you enjoy it. The first question for you, and if you get any of these wrong, Nikki said she's going to call me and you're going to be fired. Fired from your job. Yeah. Anyway, the first question is, what was my first car? Now, if you answered anything outside of a 1993 Burgundy Mitsubishi Eclipse, you would be dead frickin' wrong. Because that was my first car. I got it September of 2001. Indeed, it was a week after September 11th, so that was my first car. The second question is, what was my first job? My first real job that paid money? Ha! You thought it was working at Blockbuster. It actually was not. It was actually cutting grass at my neighbor's lawn. Mr. Dave, to be precise. It was in Columbia. I used to work very hard in the hot summer day cutting his grass. That was my first job. Now, the next question is, what is my favorite soft drink? Ha ha ha! Got y'all. I don't drink soda, so I don't have a favorite soft drink. Ha! Got you ladies, got you ladies. That was funny. Anyway, the next question is, and Mignonette, you better get this right. What is my favorite Starbucks drink? The drink that I always get. The drink I always get is a grande white chocolate mocha. I get that every single time I go into Starbucks, absent a few exceptions, but for the 3 years I was in law school, every time I walked into Starbucks, that's what I would get, and that is my favorite Starbucks drink. The next question is, what is my favorite food? My favorite food is none other than palm butter and rice. And Mignonette, you're actually getting a lot better at making it. It tastes quite delicious. I highly recommend that each of you ladies try it when you get a chance. The next question is, what is my favorite restaurant? Okay, time is up. My favorite restaurant is Fogo de Chão. It is a Brazilian steakhouse where strapping gentlemen parade around the establishment with swords of meat, filet mignon, lamb, top sirloin, very delicious meats. I usually eat until I bust, and it's very delicious. It's very expensive too, which is why we seldom eat there. The next question is getting into the nitty gritty. The question is, what was our first date, Mignonette? Okay, our first date was on April 9th, 2005. We went to go see the movie Sin City starring Bruce Willis and Mickey Rourke and a lot of other folks, Elijah Wood, etc., etc. And we went to Uno's after that. That was our first date. Okay, the next question is, what was Valentine's Day 2006 like? Describe that for all of your lady friends. Describe it. Okay, now that Mignonette has probably butchered the story, let me tell you guys a story. I was actually online, and I was online pledging, and our Dean of Pledges gave us the night off. So Mignonette wanted to go out to eat, and we went to a spot called Cheddar's, not too far out. Now, Angelique and folks there that have pledged know that it's not a very good idea to go out and frolic around when you're online pledging. So I was there sweating missiles, looking everywhere, thinking that this person was a bruh, that person was a noob, whatever. And so I was just there, nervous as all hell. But Mignonette and I really enjoyed ourselves that night. It was good times, and come to think of it, it makes sense that he would cancel that night because he had a lady at the time that later on became his wife and then became his ex-wife. But yeah, so that was Valentine's Day 2006. The next question is, what is my favorite comedy? My favorite comedy is easily, easily Coming to America starring Eddie Murphy. Great film. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it to all of you ladies. The next question is actually pretty interesting. The question is, what do I typically do when I reach an awkward stalemate when I'm talking to your father? Typically, what I do is I refer to sports or I refer to cars. Anytime I do that, your father and I usually have great conversation. It's awesome. We'll talk about the new Camaro that came out. We'll talk about the Atlanta Hawks, how they're doing. We'll talk about the Falcons. We'll talk about football. We'll talk about baseball. And that's how conversation usually goes. So whenever I reach a standstill, I talk about sports. The next question is, what is the craziest date that we've had? Okay, I'm not sure if Mignonette remembers, but one of the craziest dates that we had was I carried Mignonette to a shooting range. It was an indoor shooting range where we would shoot live firearms. Now, I don't know why I thought that was a good idea to carry somebody as nice and lovely and as warm as Mignonette to a shooting range, but the way I thought was, somebody might try to step up and do something, I mean, she needs to know how to handle herself and protect herself. And, now that she works in Baltimore, home of the wire, it's probably a good idea that she knows how to handle a firearm. But we went to a firearm and we shot pistols. And, at first, the noise is kind of loud, so it's kind of, nerve wracking, kind of shaking when you hear the loud pistols going off. Man, by the time we left, this woman was freaking Steven Seagal, man. She was busting caps. I was scared of her. I had created a monster. Now, the last question for the day is, what was the first thing I cooked for you? What was the first thing I cooked for you? The correct answer is actually spaghetti. That's probably everybody's first meal, the first guy meal that they cook for their lady, because spaghetti is so incredibly easy to make. But I actually made Italian sausages to go with it. I didn't just do the meat and then just the noodles, but I also chopped up and made Italian sausages to kind of throw that in there. And my little cooking repertoire has stepped up since then. As a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to make dinner tonight, and